So, Imitation of Christ, Book 3, Chapter 10, Part 4.5.
You are my Lord and my God, and I am your poorest servant, bound to serve you with all my strength and never to grow weary of praising you. This is my desire. This I implore you, that I may always praise you and that you will supply whatever is wanting to me. It is a great honor to serve you and to despise all things for love of you. Those who freely give themselves to your holy service will receive grace.
Okay, so we just heard this, right, from Paul and from the gospel readings, if you think about it. We're giving all to the service of God.
Okay, so in real quick, so just in essence, really then to receive great grace, sort of means that as we go along, God will provide any random thing that we need in order to continue to do his work?
I mean, he still requires you to use your own brain and senses, right? Yeah. I mean, he even says, and what did Paul do when sometimes when you're in persecution, get the heck out of there, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to use, the brain and God gave you, but he will supply overall, right? And so I think that's important, but he's given you the grace to be able to do any of it. Because without that grace, you can't have the faith. I mean, the faith comes from, think about it, the gift of faith is a grace too. It's a gift. Yeah. And so it's an undeserved gift of God, grace.
They will find the comfort of the Holy Spirit with all its sweetness, who, for love of you, have renounced all carnal pleasures. They who, for your name's sake, enter upon the narrow way, laying aside all worldly business, will have great spiritual freedom. O happy and joyful service of God, which makes us free and holy. O holy state of religion, which makes us like angels, pleasing to God, feared by evil spirits, and edifying to all faithful. Such service is worthy to be desired and embraced, which earns for us the greatest good and a joy that will never end.
And I think all of us should kind of consider, we're not locked away in a hermitage or, a convent or, we're living in the real world, right? Mm-hmm. And so that makes our task even much more difficult because we have to be in the world but not be of the world, right? And so that makes it difficult to just be a good Catholic and live our life because we're continually surrounded with things of the world.
Chapter 11, on the need to examine and moderate the desires of the heart. Christ, my child, you still have many things to learn, which you have not yet learned well. Disciple, what are these things, Lord? Christ, that you conform your desires and affections to my good pleasure, that you be not full of self-love, but a zealous follower of my will in all things. I understand well how desires sway you this way or that, but you should consider whether you are moved mainly for my honor or for your own interest.
Okay, that's perfect, because a lot of the things we do in this world, we do it for ourselves. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like, I really like that new Jeep, Lincoln. I didn't mention Jeep but whatever it is, we may have our own desires, but then you have to also say, well, what am I doing this for? I think that's important. We always have that consideration. Is this bringing me closer to heaven? Am I on point for my task? Right? Because we each have a goal, and the goal is to make it to heaven. Is what I am doing, is this bringing me closer to heaven or closer to hell? And I think we have to, or is it neutral? And sometimes things that you think are neutral may be bringing you closer to hell. Mm-hmm. It may be bringing you closer to heaven. God can sometimes use bad decisions we make, and he does. We make bad decisions all the time, and God uses us in spite of all our bad decisions. And sometimes, though, these bad decisions will help us to become ultimately a better, he'll use us in different ways that maybe we wouldn't have considered. But by that point, we'll have experience dealing with people and dealing with different situations that we might not have had. But again, it comes down to, am I doing my will or his will? Right? We want to do his will. Lord, let me know your will and let me do it. Because life goes a lot. I mean, there's difficulties doing his will. I mean, you saw what they went through, but ultimately that's what we want. We want to be doing his will.
If I am the cause, you will be at peace whatever I do with you. But if self-interest is your motive, this will hinder you and drag you down. Be careful, therefore, not to rely too much on your own desire without consulting me, lest perhaps you regret it later on, or be dissatisfied with what pleased you at first. Not every inclination which appears to be good and holy should be followed at once. On the other hand, neither is every undesirable inclination hastily to be rejected. Sometimes it is well for people to restrain those inclinations and desires, good in themselves, lest through impulsiveness they become distracted in mind, or an obstacle to the spiritual progress of others, or again, through the opposition of others, become disturbed and fall. There are times when we must use violence and courageously resist our sensual appetite, having no regard for the likes and dislikes of the flesh, but rather making sure that the body, despite its protests, becomes subject to the spirit. It must be chastised and compelled to serve until it is ready to obey in all things what the soul commands, and until it learns to be content with little, to delight in simple things, and not to complain at any inconvenience.
So we're called to deny ourselves, pick up our cross daily, and follow him, right? That's pretty much the call of a disciple. And so we have to deny ourselves. That's the first step. That's not always easy to do, right? I mean, that's because of our fallen nature. That's difficult to do. And that's why following, God is, often we pursue comfort versus sometimes things are hard. And God will push us into places we don't always want to go. And that takes courage to say, yeah, I'm going to do that, versus just giving in. I think we'll stop there. So we stopped at the end of chapter 11.